is Danetta Holmes, and I want to speak to you briefly about John Dewey. John Dewey was a well-known educator. There are people that loved him, and there were people that provided some pushback because they felt like his standpoint was not giving children what they need. So, who is John Dewey? John Dewey was born in Burlington, Vermont in 1859. And he had a very humble beginning, very modest childhood. And in his childhood, there was nothing that was evident during that time that he would be the well-known educator that we know him as of today. In 1896, he went on to the University of Chicago, and there he did something interesting. He founded his own school, and he named the school the Laboratory School. And that name kind of began to be the root of his standpoint, where he believed students should get or be exposed to in classrooms. He later went on and wrote 2 different works. He published the Society and the School and the Society in 1899, and he also published The Experience in Education in 1938. Now, he had his perspective. He believed in pragmatism. And so you ask me, what is pragmatism? Pragmatism is not knowledge you get out of a book, not knowledge that you remember, but the knowledge you gain through experience. He believed that learning is what you do, not what you memorize. During this time, he also had he was very interesting, very intentional, because he believed that when children come into the classroom, you're not thinking about what the data says, that child knows, but he's asking, who is this child? Where does this child come from? What is this child curious about? What does this child know outside of school? That he believed that was the starting point. Now, supporters love the idea that he believed learning should be student-led, student-centered. He believed that our students learn best by doing, not remembering facts. Now, his critics pushed back on that idea. They felt that when we make learning student-centered, we're weakening the academic rigor. We're missing the foundational skills. They believe that students still needed foundational skills, the reading, the writing, and the arithmetic. And that if you spend all your time concentrating on student interest, you're going to give them a disservice academically. He believed that some went as far as saying that progressive education was actually contributing to the decline of the literacy in the country, the literacy across the country. That's a hard charge to stomach. My personal standpoint as a 10-year educator, 2-year instructional coach, I believe that students learn best through meaningful, relevant experiences directly tied into their experiences through life, tied into what they're getting every day in the classroom. That students should just go through the motions. That they're actually, when they're given a chance to be able to relate to what is being taught, there's a shift that happens with them. They become more engaged. They become more they're actually thinking, and which leads to the learning. I'm really challenged by, I love what Solomon said in Proverbs 22:6, when he said, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from that. So what does that mean? That means our children learn through training and doing and experiencing. That is where the learning begins, And that leaves the lasting impact. So Dewey's legacy is very complex. The progressives loved him. They thought what he was doing were his standpoint. They felt like that was what our students needed, especially because at that time in education, the country was changing. The traditionalists believed that this was contributing to the decline in the literacy rate across the country. But I charge you with this one thing. Whatever role you serve in education, what experiences are you creating? Not just lessons. Are you seeing the whole child, not just the student? That is where the true work begins.